Welcome back. This is a Global News and Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. Federal government on Monday raised concerns over the increasing number of attacks on humanitarian workers across Nigeria, calling for urgent measures to protect those working in conflict zones. The Federal Commissioner of the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, Tijani Ahmed, who spoke at a press conference in Abuja to mark World Humanitarian Day 2024, revealed a disturbing rise in the frequency and severity of attacks on aid workers. This year's campaign, themed Acts for Humanity, drew attention to the growing risk humanitarian workers face. Ahmed said since 2020, there have been 49 reported incidents involving 79 aid workers, with cases ranging from kidnappings and ambushes to fatalities. He recalled the killing of an aid worker from Medicine du Monde, the wounding of a UN pilot, and a violent land at the Geneva Convention, to which all African nations and signatories stipulated that the intentional targeting of humanitarian workers is a war crime. Such acts violate the core principles of humanity, neutrality, impartiality, and independence that guide humanitarian action. Former Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onogen, will on Tuesday, 20th August 2024, at the Court of Appeal in Abuja, resume his legal battle against the CCT judgment delivered against him on April 18, 2019, on various grounds. Of August 2024, at 9 o'clock in Court Appeal, Abuja Division. The Code of Conduct Tribunal held in 2019 convicted Onogen in all the 6 countries. In the lead judgments delivered by Chairman of the CCT, Danladi Yakubu Umar, he had ordered the immediate removal of Onogen from office as a CJN. The tribunal had also stripped him of all offices earlier occupied, among which were the Chairman of the National Judicial Council and also the Chairmanship of the Federal Judicial Service Commission. However, dissatisfied with the CCT decision, Onogen in 2019 approached the Court of Appeal in Abuja with 16 grounds on why his conviction by the tribunal should be quashed. Among others, he maintained that the Danladi Umar-led CCT panel erred in law and occasioned a miscarriage of justice against him when he failed to decline jurisdiction to entertain the 6 counts against him. He contended that the CCT chairman ought to have rescued himself from presiding over his trial. Former governments over the recent announcement by the West African Examinations Council revealing a 7.69% decrease in the performance of candidates who sat for the 2024 West African Senior School Certificate Examination in Nigeria. WAEC had on Monday, August 12th, announced the release of the results for the 2024 WAEC emphasized that this drop in educational performance, alongside other key sectors, demands immediate attention and action. He highlighted Nigeria's literacy rate, which, despite being claimed to be above 50%, still ranks the country at 187 on the global literacy scale. This, he said, reflects a visible lack of commitment to education in the country. Obi also criticized the allocation of funds to the education sector, pointing that the total capital expenditure for the entire education sector, including the Universal Basic Education Commission, was a mere 330.3 billion naira. He argued that this amount is grossly inadequate for a country with about 81,520 primary schools and 23,550. Lastly, Cisplatic Nigeria expressed grave concern over the escalating legal battle, which stems from a 2007 agreement for the development of the Ogun Free Trade Zone. Rafsanjani emphasized that the fallout from its poorly managed contracts has resulted in significant financial losses and tarnished Nigeria's international reputation. Rafsanjani criticized the federal government for allowing state governors to access loans without adequately addressing potential risk. He pointed out that personal interests often lead public officials into problematic agreements, drawing parallels to the notorious PNID case. Statements reflect broad blowout, a public affairs analyst, Ekie, stated that looting to place more priority on agricultural development, saying that until Nigeria can feed itself, it will continue to be a nation sitting on a time bomb. Obasanjo stated this during a courtesy visit by a delegation of commissioners and special advisors from Niger State to Abeokuta over the weekend. He noted that with modern agricultural equipment now available, the impact of agricultural initiatives can be greater than the projects of the past. The visit included a tour of the National Bureau of Statistics. Nigeria's inflation hit 33.40% in July, according to data from NBS Consumer Price Index, which was 15.62 percentage points higher compared to the rate recorded in June 2023, which was 25.25%. The NBS stated that the average annual rate of the food inflation for the 12 months ending June 2024 was 35.35%, an 11.13% increase from the average annual rate of change recorded in June 2023. The core inflation rate, which excludes the price of volatile agricultural produce and energy, stood at 27.40% in June 2024, up by June 2023. According to the Consumer Price Index and inflation reports for gari, guinea corn, etc., bread and cereals, glass, yam, water yam, cocoa yam, potatoes, yam and other tuber class, groundnut oil, palm oil, oil and fat class, and catfish dried fish, sardines, mudfish, fish class, etc. Nigeria Bureau of Statistics said the highest price of premium motor spirits stood at 950 naira per litre in July 2024. According to NBS July's petrol price watch, Katsina State has the highest price of 950 naira per litre. This is followed by Jigawa and Benue States with 903.8 naira per litre and 846.95 naira, which saw the price of the product. Dapo Oshegun said the firm is working with CEO, said the increase represents over 700 billion naira, or 28% when compared to the 2023 profits of 2.548 trillion naira. Earlier, ATM reported that NNPCL declared 3.3 trillion naira profits. A formal case convention to launch a political assault unlikely to gain serious traction. The report from three powerful committees in the Republican-led House of Representatives accuses Biden of corruption links to his son Hunter's foreign business affairs. Jim Jordan, head of the Judiciary Committee, said the probe showed conclusively that Biden had abused his public office for the private financial benefit of the Biden family and Biden business associates. However, Republicans have not provided any direct proof that the convention and passed a political torch to his Vice President Kamala Harris has repeatedly denied helping his son's business ventures, including in Ukraine and China. Republicans have for years used Hunter Biden's foreign links and chaotic personal life as a recovering drug addict to try and embarrass the president. However, marathon attempts to build an impeachment case against Biden, seen by many as a bid for revenge over the two impeachments of Republican Donald Trump when he was president, have never come close to an actual vote by the House. Republicans hold only a razor-thin majority, and it remains unclear whether Monday's report will ever lead to a formal vote or impeaching Biden, as the party would require near unanimity to overcome Democratic opposition. If the House did impeach Biden, the Democratic-controlled Senate would be sure to acquit the president. Thousands of outraged Indian protesters, including arch-rival football fans and lawyers, called for justice Monday after the rape and murder of a doctor as widespread strikes by healthcare workers entered the second week. The discovery of the 31-year-old doctor's bloodied body at a state-run hospital in eastern city of Kolkata on August 9th sparked medical strikes and protests across India, channeling anger at the chronic issue of violence against women. Doctors' associations from government-run hospitals in many cities across India continued to strike on Monday that cut non-essential services. Many of the protests in multiple cities have been led by doctors and other healthcare workers, but have also been joined by tens of thousands of ordinary Indians demanding action. The murdered doctor was found in the teaching hospital's seminar hall, suggesting she had gone there for a break during a 36-hour-long shift. An autopsy confirmed sexual assault, and in a petition to the Kolkata High Court, her parents said they suspected their daughter was gang raped. In a rare case of unity, fans from Kolkata's usual rivals, the East Bengal club, marched alongside them in a midnight rally that lasted into the early hours of Monday. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has said now is probably the best, maybe the last opportunity to secure a ceasefire and hostage release deal in Gaza. Mr. Blinken made his comments during a meeting with Israeli President Isaac Herzog on Monday during his 9th trip to the region since the war began in October. The U.S. has expressed optimism about a deal since talks resumed in Doha last week, but Hamas says suggestions of progress are an illusion, with differences said to include whether Israeli troops will be required to withdraw fully from Gaza, as Hamas insists. ATN learned that the current negotiations are based on a modified proposal presented by the U.S. aimed at bridging long-standing gaps between Israel and Hamas. The Americans hope they can get the deal over the finish line perhaps as soon as this time next week. But that level of optimism is not shared by the Israeli leadership or Hamas. Each accuses the other of obstinate cynicism and blocking a deal. In a statement on Sunday, Hamas accused Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of putting obstacles in the way of an agreement and setting new conditions and demands with the aim of prolonging the war. Hamas sources earlier told Saudi media that the proposals include the Israeli Defense Force maintaining a reduced presence along the Philadelphia corridor, a narrow strip of land along Gaza's southern border with Egypt. But Israeli sources have told the Times of Israel that other procedures along border could compensate for an Israeli withdrawal from the area in the first phase of the deal. United States and South Korea kicked off their major annual joint military drills on Monday, Seoul said, with new exercises aimed at containing the nuclear-armed North, including fighting cyber attacks. Seoul's Joint Chief of Staff said the Uluchi Freedom Shield exercise runs until August 29th, with drills this year set to reflect realistic threats across all domains, including from North Korean missiles and GPS jamming. The exercise will boost the allies' capability and posture to deter 1,000 South Korean troops participating by land, sea and air, as well as in the cyber and space domains, according to the Defense Ministry, which declined to offer details of the U.S. participation. ATN gathered that Pyongyang has floated thousands of trash-carrying balloons across the border in recent conducting civil defense exercises designed to better prepare for any future trash balloons as well as North Korean drone attacks. U.S.-South Korea drills typically infuriate the North, which views them as rehearsals for invasion and has frequently conducted weapon tests in retaliation. Last year, North Korean state media warned the drills could trigger a number of cruise missiles and ballistic missiles in protest. Kim Yong-soo, head of Seoul's Joint Chief of Staff, said last week that Pyongyang was likely to use the exercise as a pretext to conduct deceitful and blitz provocations. Kim also ordered troops to closely monitor and analyze the activities and retaliate. Moscow says Ukraine has struck and damaged a third bridge in Kursk region as Kyiv forces attempt to expand its incursion within Russian territory. Russia's investigative committee on Monday confirmed the attack. Ukrainian authorities have yet to comment on the Russian claim. In another sign of escalation on Monday, Russia said its Marines captured a group of 19 Ukrainian soldiers in the region, the state news agency reported in this closing. Now sports. Bendel Insurance goalkeeper Amaz Obasogie has joined Ethiopian club FC. Falconets head coach Chris Danjuma has said the team is in Colombia to win the 2024 FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup title. Danjuma to return home with the trophy. Nigeria will face Germany, Venezuela and Korean Republic in Group D. Colombia will host the competition from August 31st to August 22nd to September 22nd. Thierry Henry has officially resigned from his position as head coach of the France under-21 national team. The announcement made by the French Football Federation on Monday confirmed that Henry's departure was due to personal reasons. Renowned football captain Ike Gundogan announced his retirement from international football on Monday after leading his country at Euro 2024. Gundogan said in a Germany FA statement, "After a few weeks of reflection, I have come to the conclusion that it is time to end my national team career," noting that he looked back with great pride on 82 international matches for his home country, adding that number that he could never have dreamed of when he made his debut for the senior national team in 2011. Gundogan, who turned the team that reached the Euro 2024 quarterfinals before losing to eventual champions Spain after